Hi, welcome back. I'm Sifu Wayne, author of the Wing Chun Compendium series of books and head instructor of the Canadian Wing Chun Academy. I'd like to welcome you to the next in a series of video question and answer sessions. Let's head on out to the studio. Hi, welcome back. This week I'd like to spend a few minutes and talk about distance. And specifically what I want to talk about is distance as it pertains to being able to deliver power, and distance as it pertains to reach or being able to get in close enough to an opponent to deliver that power. Regarding distance, what I want to try to do is favor using my longest weapon. In this case it's going to be a punch. In the case of where I'm using an arm, it's going to be a punch. So what I want to do is favor having the distance so that I can keep my opponent at bay, so I can keep them sort of further away from me while still striking. I don't want them to get any closer than they have to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to favor this punch over a shorter weapon, say perhaps an elbow. We can all see the kind of troubles that might come up if I try to use this shorter weapon when somebody else uses their punch or a longer weapon. You can see they'll likely be able to hit me without me being able to hit them. Distance also makes or influences the amount of power that can be delivered. And in this case I'm not talking specifically just about the punch or the elbow, I'm talking about the stance as well. So if I punch, depending how close I am to the person, if I don't move my feet and I punch, if they're a little bit closer than my optimal distance, I'm going to end up with a jammed up or a choked up kind of punch, and I'm going to end up with a push. Naturally, also, if they're further away and I punch, I'm just going to plain old miss them, so I don't want to do that either. So it's very important for me to have the opponent at the right distance. And to that extent, I can then therefore judge or affect the amount of power that I deliver to them by having a consistent same punch and then moving my stance. And I can move in or out as little as 1/4 of an inch and take a whole bunch of power off of my punch, or by getting into the proper distance, make the power or the amount of impact that I have in my punch literally go through the roof. So first I'd like to talk about the distance or the long and shorter range weapons. And kind of the demonstration I want to give is a fairly straightforward type of thing. If Dave and I are getting ready to fight here, and he's got his fists up, yeah, there he goes. And I go to throw this punch, this elbow. In order to get this elbow over to him, I have to get really, really, really close. For my comfort level anyway. Some people might like it a little closer, but really close for my comfort level. So if I want to get in that close and he chooses not to get in that close, what's going to happen? Yeah. You can see, I got him. That's good. Not a very wise trade from my perspective. So when I'm fighting, what I want to do is try and keep my distance as much as possible. So if Dave throws this punch again, I can use my long weapon and stay away from this and hopefully not get hit by it. The other thing that becomes important is we in Wing Chun train for practical application, but one of the drills that we do a fair bit of is Chi Sao, and what we want to do is keep this principle in mind when we do our Chi Sao as well, because if we're doing the Chi Sao and I decide to come in and hit Dave with some elbow, if he has good extension, if he himself is not choked up, it's going to be very difficult for me to get in and hit him without getting into punching range. Go ahead and punch. See? Very difficult for me to cover this distance. So when we're doing Chi Sao, don't expect that you can get in close enough to hit somebody with an elbow. It's possible you can, it's quite risky. Even I would say, if I get Dave all trapped up here, there he is, and I go to hit him with an elbow, I still have to get closer than I should. There, economy of motion. I'm going to hit him from here, take care of the job. If I use my elbow, I have to get in closer, use a little bit more energy, and just in getting closer, I never know what could happen. Oh, that one could hit me. Other ones could come up. Dave could decide to use his elbow too, because now we're both in the same elbow range. So lots of troubles can happen. If I get this where Dave's trapped up, I'd just rather throw the punch and take care of that business. The other thing that I want to talk about is how distance affects punching power. So I only have one punch. And if I want to not hurt Dave, then I stay at this distance. Dave knows what's coming. So what I can do is when I'm training for a fight or when I'm training for Chi Sao, I can practice my distance. I can practice the amount of power I deliver by varying my distance with my step. So if we have a practical application, Dave throws a punch through a big old hook, there it goes. I block this, that's fine. When I step in, there. That should cause a fair bit of motivation for Dave to stop punching. But if I want to motivate him even more, what I might do is just step a little bit closer. So you'll use your stance to control how much power you deliver. And where do you actually learn this type of thing? When we do the Chi Sao drill, when I attack Tanda, for example, my stepping that I do in this drill allows me to practice my distance. So that's where I can practice my distance and my power here in Chi Sao, take it out into the field to practice it on unsuspecting strangers, and that's how I'm going to increase my skill and increase my understanding of how to deliver power with a punch and how to understand what range I should be in and what sort of risks are associated with that range. Is this thing on?